I want to, though, use some evidence given to me by Jason Farrell, the investigative news reporter from Sky, who's done a fantastic job over many years to bring this to light. And I particularly want to refer to documents that he found in the Berlin National Archives. Minutes of meetings between the company, Schering Chemicals Limited, and their lawyer and one scientific advisor. I'm going to read extracts from the minutes of a meeting held on the 20th and 21st December 1977 at Goldsmith Building, Temple, London, when Schering were getting the advice, legal advice of Mr. Clothier QC. And these are the minutes in the Berlin National Archives, a few extracts which show that this has been a whole cover-up over years. And it has to stop here today. We have to pass this motion and the government have to act. No more cover-ups. Back in 1977, Mr. Clothier then went on to the letter written by Dr. Pitchford and Dr. By to Dr. Friebel in Germany, the 6th of June 1968, requesting that it was important that something more must be done. Mr. Clothier went into this letter in some detail and suggested it would be dynamite in the hands of the claimants. Another memo from Dr. Pitchford to Dr. Friebel, 22nd July 1969, was raised by Mr. Clothier. This memo was a summary of events and stated that Schering should abandon the product for use in pregnancy testing. Mr. Clothier wished to know what had been done on the Schering side in response to this. No answer. I go on. Mr. Clothier felt that if this case was tried to the end by a judge, the chances were that the company would be found to be in neglect of its duty. Clothier stated that there would seem to be a 5-to-1 chance that if there was a malformation in a child and the mother took Primodos while pregnant, it was the fault of the drug. Page 7 from the memo. Mr. Clothier said there were two alternatives open to us, talking to Schering. One is to establish a voluntary scheme of compensation in which a justifiable claim would be given, compensation without proof of liability, but simply accepting moral responsibility. The other was to take it to court. Dr. Dettering from Schering said that he was hesitant in establishing a scheme as a product is marketed worldwide. If we introduce this scheme in one country, we should be introducing it into other countries. They were trying to escape, back in 1977, their moral responsibilities, Mr. Deputy Speaker. There are other prime issues from this particular minute. Because of the time, Mr. Deputy Speaker, let me go on to the other minute. This is a minute of a report of a meeting between Professor Tuchman de Plessis, who was a scientist from Paris, and it took place in Berlin on the 16th of February, and this is 1978, and this is a minute dated the next day, 17th of February. And the meeting was arranged by Dr. Deering in Berlin in order to determine Professor Tuchman's general opinion on the validity and quality of the work that had been carried out on Primodos. First question was posed, recorded in this minute. Did we, as a company, Schering, carry out all the studies that we were supposed to? In Professor Tuchman's opinion, we should have done much more. He expressed the view that after discovering that a certain dose was embryo lethal in rabbits and in rats, we should have certainly carried out teratological studies in primates in 1968. Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is a scandal. They knew. Their lawyers were telling them that they would be liable, they would be found guilty in a court and have to pay. Why does this continue on? We've heard from all honourable and right honourable gentlemen and ladies today of the cases of constituents up and down our country whose lives have been blighted by this. Why continue anymore? I say to the Minister, he has to stand up to the official briefings he's getting. That's right. He has to stand up to the nonsense of continued obfuscation, of cover-up. Surely he must now get out the dispatch box later in this debate and say that he's going to support this motion as well, and the government will set up the judicial inquiry as soon as possible.